Matthew, do you want to switch your camera the other way around? So you're lengthways.
That better?
Yeah, but you have to take off your auto rotation.
What? Wait, what's going on? Wait, guys.
I'm recording this anyway. This is the intro to the
No.
podcast.
Listen. Wait.
Oh, it's crazy.
Wait, I thought this was all right.
You've got the empty spaces on the side, so I need you to turn it around lengthways. There we go. There we go. We can get the tin of Vaseline in. We can get the Evian bottle in. That's what I'm talking about. Better, much better. I'm not going to edit this out. We're going to keep it in. And there we go, everyone. We are back again for another fantastic conversation on Friday Night Counter Attack. We are here, we are rocking, and we are rolling. This week is something straight, simple, and it should be sweet for you all to listen to if you're an England fan listening to our content over the European Championships. We are recording this a couple of days before the Denmark game, so this may just be bittersweet, or it may just be another bit of England content for you all to listen to. We are discussing our top 5 iconic Euros moments for England, and for England fans from 4 different perspectives and 4 different people with 4 different favorite moments as well. So we're going to go through basically our lifetime of enjoying the European Championships as England fans, and we're definitely not going to be talking about 2008. Wally and a Brolly is not going to be mentioned at all. I just preferred his redemption as the assistant manager for Manchester United when the FA Cup, Steve McLaren. So big respect to Steve McLaren right there as well. But respect to everyone who's joining our conversation on the podcast today. Travis, it's always good to see you, my friend. We've been killing it on our new studio as well. It's been fantastic seeing you in person on a regular basis. How are you doing this week, my friend?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, we've been busy, haven't we? But yeah, all good fun. And yeah, good to be here as always, especially with our favourite 2 guests.
Favorite 2 guests, because they're as close as co-hosts as we're going to get used to, but the fact that they're always guests, I appreciate the amazing insight we get from Mr. Joshua Adu Donkor, football commentator, football reporter, been killing it this season. He's had his little honeymoon, I would say, in Mexico as well. I'm not saying honeymoon because he got married. I'm saying his honeymoon for celebrating Manchester United winning the FA Cup and Eric Ten Hag staying. How you doing, Joshua? Good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, I'm very good, very well. Loving the Euro so far. It's good to get that break. It was a long season. But yeah, just enjoying the football. Had a really good game just now. Georgia against Turkey. And yeah, got the fine fellas to listen to about the great England moments about collecting silver the last 20, 30 years. Can't wait.
Absolutely. And someone who wanted to bring a bit of negativity into this conversation, I'm not going to allow him to as well. If he does, I'm going to edit it out myself. Mr. Back of the Net Podcast, Mr. Matthew Smith. Matthew, it's good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. And I want to big up your conversation regarding Bukayo Saka as well, because he's been absolutely fantastic in that first half in the first game for England against Serbia as well. So hopefully you'll be seeing more of him shining for England. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, man. Good to be with the team again. I'm just ready to speak about the Euros. Nostalgia, innit? Nostalgia, all these tournaments. So yeah, ready. Good conversation. Good topics coming.
I'm ready for it. And without further ado, let's take it away to the best moments of the England national team at the European Championships. I'm not going to say of all time, but I'm going to say all time for dramatic effect. And it makes a better tagline and more people will be clicking on it on Spotify as well. Everyone, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you're streaming on Spotify as well, because Matthew is going to take us away with his favourite moment from Euro 96. Where are we going, Matthew? Wembley Stadium, Old Trafford, Highbury? What happened in 96? Because I don't remember that tournament. What do you remember about it fondly from an England point of view?
Listen, a great tournament for me. I just remember growing up and wanting that great England shirt. And my mum used to say, no, you've got something similar at home. And it was just high tech. Yeah, it wasn't England. Yeah.
The Adora as well. They used to do a grey one as well.
Listen, great tournament. Listen, let's remember this. June the 15th, 1996, I think it was. England versus Scotland. You know, the atmosphere was mad. And you know what? There's comparisons to how it was this season, the whole Wembley, or not this season, when we lost the Euro 2020. But that same atmosphere with the players and the connection between the fans and everyone. And honestly, it was insane. Twin Towers. Remember old school Wembley? It had that buzz about it, you know what I mean? And we had a quality
you
team
can't be saying
as well.
the Twin Towers on this podcast that people will be thinking of something else regarding the Twin Towers. So
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. That's exactly what we're all thinking about.
England had like anyway, I'm not gonna go. Okay, anyway, it was a nostalgic stadium, great stadium, and the Scotland game was amazing. One of the most memorable goals ever. I don't know if you guys like me tried to score that goal many times. I'm a goalkeeper, so it's hard to pull these things off. By Mr. Paul Gascoigne, probably one of England's greatest players, most people would say anyway. And yeah, it was a great game. Gary McAllister missed a penalty given away by Mr. Arsenal himself, Tony Adams. But it was a great save by David Seaman. And yeah, England went on, won that one. And that was a great game. But the game for me that sticks with me during Euro 1996 was the Holland game, or Netherlands as they call them. And that was a great, great Netherlands team. Do you know what? I want to actually quickly, I'm going to ask you guys, because I don't know if you guys remember it. I'm going to see who actually knows ball. Actually, Hamza. We're going to straight to Hamza. Forget everyone else. No, I trust you two, Travis and Joshua.
You trust someone who wasn't even born in 1996 like Travis. Well done, Matthew. Well done.
Hamza.
Great.
Name me at least 3 strikers in that Dutch team, or that Netherlands team that they took to the Euros.
You got Dennis Bergkamp. He may have been at Arsenal. I'm not sure if he was or not, but Dennis Bergkamp was definitely there. You had Patrick Kluivert, who ended up playing for Barcelona. He played at Newcastle United as well.
Yeah, weirdly, yeah.
Great to see. Third one, Overmars doesn't count as a striker, does he? Because he's a winger, wasn't he?
I'll give you that, though. I'll give you that. Even the fact you knew that, I'll give you that. No, yeah, all right, cool. He knows ball, people. He knows ball. That's the only test he's getting today. But back to the game. Yeah.
Who else did I miss out? Just so the audience knows as well. Who else did I miss out on?
He's throwing that back to you, you know. He's throwing that back to you. He said, right, I've got mine. What are you on? That's what he said.
Roy Mackay, one of my favourite strikers, man. Remember Roy Mackay? Love him.
Bayern Munich and PSV used to play for?
Yeah, I think it was
Feyenoord?
Bayern Munich, Feyenoord, Deportivo, or am I imagining?
Yes, Deportivo. Of course. Great name to bring back.
Respect it. Yeah.
I mean, it was your question at the end of the day, so come on.
Who's throwing the who? Yeah? Listen. Back to the game, yeah. Listen, it was a great game. England won 4-1. And I think there was a double. I think Shearer scored 2, Sheringham scored 2. And Netherlands didn't know what to do. They couldn't hack England. England were fantastic. England were just playing. Do you remember the Germany game in Euro 2020? That's the same type of play that England had back then. Quick players, great finishing, defense was solid. And yeah, Netherlands didn't have an answer. I think Kluivert got the consolation. And yeah, we went on, demolished them. And that was a tournament England really, really should have gone on and obviously won it. But yeah, it was a great tournament. I remember, I'm not going to say how old I was then, but no, it's a fantastic tournament and one that will live long in the memory of myself.
No, I appreciate it. And I appreciate the fact you're wearing something quite grey, just like that English shirt in 1996. I've got that iconic memory of Paul Ince looking sad in that grey shirt after losing to Germany on penalties as well. And the current England manager, Gareth Southgate, not scoring a penalty as well. So great memories for people who were actually around and could remember it as well. So nicely done there, Matthew, as well. Joshua, we're off to Euro 2004. We're off to when England were in the group with Croatia, Switzerland, and France, the current holders at the time of the European Championships, where they had Henry, Zidane, Pires, Lilian Thuram, they had Barthez in goal, and we had Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes, Beckham, Owen, and a young wonder kid coming through at Everton. What do you remember about that young wonder kid and what he went on to achieve for England, Joshua?
Oh, well, he was record goal scorer a year ago before Harry Kane pipped in Wayne Rooney, but I don't think there's been a better player at a tournament away from England, because I think Gascoigne in 96 was exceptional. And I think Matt spoke really well about how that England side connected with the country. The songs, the identity of this England team and the supporters all stems from 96. All you hear, you didn't know England won anything other than 66. You didn't know about the tournaments before 96. It's so emphatic. But 2004, Wayne Rooney just gives me life. There's a current documentary going on about the making of him in that tournament. He was absolutely out of this world. That finish, Switzerland, when he got a brace, because I think for Euro 2004, it was the good, the bad, the ugly for England. I know we're not supposed to talk about the negatives, so you can edit this out, but that was a really good introduction of how it is to be an England supporter. Knowing that where you should get to, knowing that you can perform, the heartbreaker Sol Campbell in Portugal in the semi-final where the goal should stand, etc., etc. But starting with that group, with France. You're up against Zidane, and England are so close once again, about to beat France, and then he just pulls up, bangs a free kick in, scores the penalty, breaks your heart.
Easy.
And England need to step up, and they do with Rooney. They get a new, fresh wonder talent. Everything's put to bed. You forget about that performance against the French and Croatia needing to win. England had never qualified out of the group outside England in the Euros before that tournament. They did that by beating Croatia. Obviously, Lampard got a goal. Scholes got the first one. And Rooney, again, 4 goals. And at the time, he was the youngest goal scorer ever. In European Championships, of course, that's been beaten by several players. Now, it's 20 years ago. But everything about him, everybody knows my affection for Wayne Rooney, his touch, but his rawness at that age as a teenager is just exceptional. The ferocity he hit the ball, that Switzerland goal, just 2 foot off the ground, planted, fear in the defender's eyes. Lilian Thuram, and it's a great quote. I think it's Thuram. I don't want to get Thuram, amazing defender. I think it was because I watched the commentary recently, and Rooney was like, he doesn't know who I am, or he's going to know who I am. Busted it into him, and he had no fear, man. He played like he had no fear, and the only criticism you could say to him is he retired earlier. He didn't train, which I all think is bogus. He's absolutely top dollar. I do think he's the best talent this country's produced, definitely this century. Because he's kicking ball for England at 18 and being the main man. And like you said, Hamza, but all the best ballers last 20 years were in that team. Lampard, Gerrard, Scholes, but he was the X factor that we desperately needed. And everybody says he didn't perform as much for England. And yes, of course, he didn't win anything for England. He did, finish top goal scorer. He did get a World Cup goal. And I don't think a player's had a better tournament than him since 2004 in English shirt. I don't know about you guys. I know Harry Kane's had a few, Golden Boot wins. This is why I introduced Travis.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is a good way for Travis to come in. Jordan Pickford's been pretty good for England in the past. Sterling, of course, as well. Yeah. Go on, Travis. I know you wanted to retort to Joshua. Let's hear it.
I don't know if I can disagree with you. My instinct is to do so. But no, I think Kane 2018 won the Golden Boot, didn't he? Which is big. But I think his overall contribution in that tournament, it wasn't, classic performances from Kane. I don't think you could say. Pickford in the 2018 tournament obviously saved a couple of penalties. I think the best tournament performance I've seen from an England player on a whole, actually, it's probably from the last Euros. I'm thinking Raheem Sterling, because he just absolutely carried us through that tournament. Just in terms of ones from kind of recent memory anyway, the last kind of 4 or 5 tournaments, that seems to be the one that's sticking in my head most, is Raheem Sterling's performance over the course of Euro 2020, I would say.
Is it outlandish to suggest Harry Maguire as well for what he did for England when he came back as well?
Yeah, that's outlandish.
Yeah, we're talking about, Hamza, come and let me not get a time machine and give you, it's what? Elite of elite. If you think about Wayne Rooney's 2004 performance, come on, respect, man. Ball, come on. Delete that.
No, I don't mind it. For international football, he held his own. He was team of the tournament in the Euros when he came back from his injury as well. He kept a clean sheet in every single game before the final, in the first 19 minutes, which was great to see. Conceding from non-open play goals, which was incredible to see as well. And the fact that Harry Maguire had to play in the back 3 and then in the back 2 as well. It goes to show that actually, when you're looking at John Terry, you're looking at Rio Ferdinand, you're looking at all these other centre-backs, Ledley King, Ashley Cole, Jamie Carragher, that played at the Euros and at the World Cup, Joleon Lescott, Matthew Upson. None of them have really been as solid as Harry Maguire have, in my opinion, from what I've seen, since probably 2004, maybe even 2000, because 2012, who did we have? We had Lescott and John Terry at the back. In 2016, we had Jagielka and Cahill, or Smalling and Jagielka, Smalling and Cahill. To have that assurance at the back as well for Harry Maguire. He may not be the best. I'm not going to say he's going to be over Wayne Rooney, but a mention isn't the worst thing in the world, I would say, or even John Stones, to be fair, because they've been solid for so many years for England as well, which were great as well. And we never really saw Terry and Ferdinand at European Championships when you put it into perspective. 2 great centre-backs. Sol Campbell never really played afterwards as well, so that was also a big thing regarding defenders. But no, Euro 2004 was great for me. It was my first Euros tournament watching it. The Switzerland game was great because that was on during school time as well. And watching it during school, that was absolutely incredible to see Wayne Rooney balling out. Michael Owen assisting Wayne Rooney, that never used to happen. It used to be the other way around in qualifying. Rooney assisting Michael Owen, and it was great to see them two almost build a great partnership. But because of injuries with Wayne Rooney breaking his foot against Portugal, and then we get knocked out on penalties as well. It's always a what if, because Rooney would have taken a penalty. We may have won in normal time if he stayed fully fit. And that's what England fans always put on Wayne Rooney, the fact that he never replicated that form from 2004. And Rooney Mania really swept the nation back in 2004 as well. Just like Manu Mania will be taking over the nation come the quarterfinals, which will be great to see. But this is where I get to talk about Euro 2012, because it's not one of our finest moments, but people forget that Roy Hodgson basically became the last minute manager in around May 2012 with the tournament starting in June. So it was great to see how he kind of had a pragmatic style of play to actually get us to the quarterfinals. And it was the last time we actually had a round of six. No, it was the last time we had 16 teams in the European Championships before we moved to a bigger format, which was always cool to see. And one of my favorite moments was watching England take on Sweden when you had a suspended Wayne Rooney, when you were playing basically the last time I've kind of seen England play Brexit football at the Euros. And we played against Sweden, who were playing a 4-4-2 as well. So there's Zlatan Ibrahimovic, they had Sebastian Larsson, Arsenal legend, cult hero, Kim Kallstrom as well, Matthew. I'm sure you'd appreciate him for what he did back in the day for Arsenal with a broken back. But for me, I kind of need to speak about the impact of one England player who shouldn't have gone to one tournament, but he definitely should have started in this tournament more than he did. Theo Walcott. We need to talk about Theo Walcott because he never should have gone to that World Cup in 2006, a Southampton player who'd barely even got a game for Southampton when they were in Division 1, which is now called the Championship. Jermaine Defoe should have gone to that tournament ahead of Theo Walcott 10 days out of 10. But when you're looking at this one, Theo Walcott was benched with James Milner because you had Ashley Young playing, you had Danny Welbeck and Andy Carroll up front. And I really thought that Theo Walcott had a really good time to shine in this tournament. And he kind of got his moment in this one, to be fair. Scored the equalising goal, a volley, half volley outside the box against Sweden. And then we came back with Danny Welbeck flicking in the last 5 minutes or so of the game to really win a 3-2 game against Sweden after drawing to France 1-1 before we just needed a win to qualify. Because it wasn't, again, a Euros where if you finish third, you go through. It was a top two and you're done, which was great to see. So really enjoyed that game. I wanted to get your thoughts. Theo Walcott, Matthew, this is where I get to bring you into this one as well. We haven't really seen many positive topics of conversation regarding Theo Walcott, but I thought he had an England career set up for him as soon as he became a 16-year-old coming into the team under Sven-Göran Eriksson. Would you say that he underachieved as an England player because he never got the right caps, or because he got that hat-trick against Croatia in qualifying, he was someone who burst onto the scene really young? Do you think he kind of fulfilled his England potential with the likes of Lennon, Milner, you had Stuart Downing coming through, you had Oxlade-Chamberlain as well? What's your thoughts on Theo Walcott as an England player, Matthew?
I think, do you know what? It's a weird one, and I feel like people held that thing of why did he go at such a young age, and it stuck with him for a long time. But when I saw him play for England, he did his thing. He really did his thing. I think it was Croatia away in Zagreb, we got a hat trick.
Yeah.
Hat-trick. Yeah, and I remember I was like, damn, this guy, like, he's, taking to international. And I think he's one of them players who just doesn't get enough credit for what he did. Even at club level as well. A lot of people, they say, he's just quick and everybody did it. But he did well, man. And he did his thing for England. But as you said, Jermaine Defoe was the one. Like, I think Jermaine Defoe said recently as well about that how he should have gone. And he was one of them that we really missed. We always seem to miss a trick with not taking a certain player in a tournament. And
Marcus Rashford this summer, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? But it seems to be a trait that we have going in every single tournament, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, people thought that with Walcott, and Defoe should have gone, and maybe we could be sitting here talking about numerous tournaments we could have won. But Walcott just didn't get enough credit. And not just because he played for Arsenal, I just feel like he did his bit when he played. Listen, there have been worse players than him playing for that international side.
Because it seems to me, when I'm looking through history, England have great fast players in their team, and they don't always play to their strengths as well. Because imagine having Rooney, who was really good, who was really quick as well. Then you had Aaron Lennon, you had Theo Walcott, you had so many young players coming through around that end of 2000s before the 2010s. It would have been great to see more of them playing, because Aaron Lennon had a fantastic cameo appearance in the World Cup against Portugal when Wayne Rooney was sent off as well. Lennon and Hargreaves were really good in that game, if I remember correctly as well. But we're going to forward from 2006, which I was just mentioning about Portugal, to 2016. And Travis, I know there were a couple of games that you wanted to mention as well, but there was a player in particular in that opening game against Russia you wanted to mention, and I thought this would be a great time for you to discuss, a former Tottenham player.
Yeah, there's not many standout moments from that tournament, to be fair. I know that we
Harry
want to
Kane on
avoid.
corners, remember? Harry Kane on corners.
Oh God, I completely forgot about that. Harry Kane on corners. I know we want to avoid.
Joshua's face is still scarred by it as well.
Yeah, he can't believe it.
But that's the thought of my head before Travis goes. I think that's England's worst tournament in my lifetime, comfortably.
Yeah, in my lifetime, definitely. It's most embarrassing, I would say, in terms of results. Look, I know we said we don't want to talk about negativity, but there's not too many good
escape
to look
as
at.
much with England.
That Russia game, I think we drew the Russia game, didn't we? Was it 1-1?
1-1, yeah.
With a fantastic Eric Dyer free kick, probably I was gonna say his best moment in an England shirt, but no, I'd say that's World Cup quarterfinal against Colombia, wasn't it? Scoring the winning penalty. That was embarrassing. We beat Wales by the skin of our teeth. And then we drew to Slovakia as well, didn't we? Was it 0-0?
We rotated our team.
Yeah, we took about 6 players out or something, didn't we? Dodgy tournament. But a few good moments.
Came Iceland.
Yeah, a few good moments though. I mean, that Eric Dyer free kick was stupendous. The very, very late comeback against Wales.
Let's discuss that because that's always going to be a big game. England versus Wales. It's really big in rugby. It's really big in athletics as well in the Commonwealth Games. But in football, we rarely see that happen. And for that to happen in France at an international tournament, that was a big moment for England fans and for Wales fans because Wales were beating the drum of, England fans aren't as passionate as Wales fans. England players aren't as passionate as Wales fans. And if we remember correctly, I'm not going to fast forward it, but you've all got that moment in mind of when Daniel Sturridge scores that winner and he's doing his little calm celebration, the little Sturridge dance, and everyone's going mental in the crowd. Scenes from Gary Neville and Wayne Rooney coming from the bench and celebrating. That was when pandemonium hit England and London was rocking because we kind of had our fate handed to us, which was really annoying because we never really controlled the media as well as we do now. That's one of Gareth Southgate's great advantages as manager. He controls the narrative in the media very, very well compared to previous years when, for example, our penalty decisions were getting leaked of where we're going to take our penalties, going left, right, or in the middle, who's taking what, which was really bad. We had things going against us for the sake of going against us. And Matthew, this is where I'm going to talk to you about Raheem Sterling, about how he was getting such a bad rep in that tournament from Alan Shearer, from people in the BBC media team. They were going in about, Raheem Sterling's playing awful. He should be playing better. He's had a big money signing to Man City, yada, yada, yada. How did you kind of feel with that? Because you thought for me, it felt like they were trying to find a scapegoat already. And it was match day 2 of the tournament. What's your thoughts on that, Matthew?
No, the same thing. I feel like, again, it's just, with us, it just never changes tournament in, tournament out. Like, he was the scapegoat. Like you said after game 2, Raheem Sterling this, Raheem Sterling that, when, if you look overall, he's been one of our better servants. And I'm not going to get into it again. We're not going to do negativity.
I remember Harry Kane didn't score in that tournament because he was on corners. It felt like it was all over the place for England. But they wanted to highlight Raheem Sterling, which really, really annoyed me.
Yeah, Raheem. But listen, nowadays you've got players that are not getting highlighted, and they're not doing their thing. But because they've got certain awards, no one's saying nothing. So, yeah, as I said, I don't want to get into this negativity thing, but again, they just find someone, pick on them when there's, other players deserve some more of that flack anyway. Listen, look at all the tournaments where he's played in. He's been so important to us, and which is why, as we said, either him or your guy should have gone to this one. Straight facts.
You needed someone to stretch the play, and the fact that we were stretching the play and not finishing it was really bad to see how we couldn't really do well against Slovakia. We're not going to talk about Iceland because, again, we're in a positive mood today. We're going to keep it light and easy. But before we get on to Euro 2020, from Joshua's point of view, were there any tournaments where you thought, you know what, England had a big opportunity to go far, but they messed up on tactics, they messed up on personnel, they messed up on their approach to the game? What's your kind of big what if for England in previous European tournaments, Joshua?
You know what? So let's sound a bit mad, but I think 2012. I think Roy Hodgson galvanised and united the country. I've said that quite a few times, but when the expectations are low, so at the moment currently expectations are high. We've got a really good squad. We know, etc. We know that England can win it, etc., etc. But 2012 and 2018, Russia and where was it in 2016? 2012, sorry, it was in Ukraine.
With Poland and Ukraine.
Yeah, Poland and Ukraine. there was no, as you said, Roy Hodgson's just come in a few weeks before the tournament starts. It's transitional squad. They've got recognisable centre backs. The strikers are not your Wayne Rooney's. They're not your Michael Owens. They're not prolific. Not playing for a top 4 club at the time. Obviously, Danny Welbeck's there. And we went out of Italy on penalties again. And in that game, if I'm correct, it was 0-0. It's like we just sort of saw Perlo, and we do this thing in UK, in England especially. We just lure, and it's changed now. I think it's changed. We lured the opposition star player like, oh, like we can't get near him.
We did that with
It's not
Mbappe
like,
in the World
yeah,
Cup.
like it's
We
just
did
like,
it
oh my
with
god,
Bonucci and Chiellini in the final.
Ronaldo, like everybody, it's just like get at him. And I just thought that the reason I thought it was a missed opportunity because before you know, you're in a semi-final, and if I'm correct, Italy lost the final to Spain, right?
They
Yeah,
lost
because they beat Germany.
4-0.
Yeah,
Perlo
because
was
they beat
crying on the
Germany.
pitch.
Yeah.
Couldn't do anything against Xavi, Iniesta, and Busquets and Alonso.
I just think that's like, to go far in a tournament, to get to first Euro final, foreign soil. That was a good opportunity. Personally, I think the squad was there. There was a belief. There wasn't. You wouldn't look at that tournament. None of us in that tournament were like, this player played poorly, that player played poorly. The manager this or that. Ashley Young performed well. He missed the penalty though during the shootout. But I just felt that game. It was like the build up, Perla, and the game was tight. The game was tight. It could have gone our way. And a semi final. I know we're quite spoiled at the moment due to Southgate's success in inverted commas, but his success due to England. But a semi-final back in 2012 for England would have been huge. So that for me, the what if. I know now we've been to a final, we've been to semi-finals of the World Cup. That doesn't sound that big, but back then, we would have done a lot of things to just get to a Final Four, or just to see England in the final. When England got to the Final Four of the World Cup, that was a big moment for the country. Like, oh my God, like you've had to be a certain age to see England be in the semi-final, let alone a final. So yeah, for me, the what if would be Euro 2012 because I think in terms of the quality across Europe outside Spain, everybody was quite transitional. Pirlo was in his last years, and Balotelli was coming through. Germany got dismantled by Italy. Italy, had that good record over Germany. So yeah, I just fancied England to do a bit more. And like you said, it's kind of as soon as you get to the group stage, you're in the quarters, so you can get to the final. What? Quick math: 6 games? No, 5. 5 games. You're in the final. that's an opportunity missed for me.
Yeah, I would agree with that one as well. Mine was more along the lines of 2004, but then again, it shows that all these great players were relying upon Wayne Rooney to actually get them into the tournament. But Joshua, we actually got to the final in Euro 2020, which was crazy to actually think about as well. We got there, and I thought, you know what, because we've all watched this tournament properly, we were all kind of in our adult ages as well, which is great to see. We can all remember it, and we can kind of focus on, I'm not going to say England's greatest success in inverted commas for people listening on Spotify and everywhere. I did the inverted commas sign, but that's the greatest success England had in modern men's football, which was incredible to see. Matthew, you don't know ball. Name one team that England didn't score against at Euro 2020.
Letting yourself down here, Matt.
Come on, you gave me the challenge. I got one for you. You're still on mute. That's why you've let yourself down, Matt.
It's gonna kick you when you realise as well.
Can I just say as well, I was unwell during that time, so I didn't really catch the tour. So that's a disclaimer. I wasn't too well that tour. So
being an Arsenal fan, you have many health problems. I understand that completely, Matthew.
Damn, wait. Oh my God, I'm doing this on audio as well. People are like, Matt, come on, man, come on.
Show them why you know.
Do you guys know? Do you two know?
Yeah, it's really easy. Really, really easy.
What? How the hell am I not? Wait.
Pressure's on.
Guys, tell me it's going to piss me off on.
I'll give you 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Who was it?
Scotland.
Who?
Scotland. We drew 0-0 for Scotland.
That's the money shot. Let's finish.
You know what?
Let's finish the pod. That's it.
Do you know what the worst part about that one? Yeah, I went to, because remember they used to do the fan part in London.
I went to
Trafalgar. Yeah, I went to Trafalgar to watch it with my dad. I remember I was like, oh, let's get the food. It started pouring with rain. I'm sitting there. I was like, I've queued for 4 hours just to see a 0-0. I was steaming. How have I forgotten that?
Did you catch a cold from that? Was that how you became ill? You caught a flu, being in the rain?
Huh?
Did you catch the flu by being in the rain for 4 hours?
I did actually. I had to book off
Cold
work for a
Matthew.
week. I was sick. I had to book off work. I was sick. How did I forget that?
Gareth Southgate is
Horrible.
causing you illness, Matthew. This is crazy to think about. But we've got to talk about this one in a much positive light as well. I mean, starting that opening game against Croatia at Wembley, a 20% filled capacity Wembley Stadium, Raheem Sterling scoring a goal after a great run from Calvin Phillips, and it looked like everything was looking great. We were playing a mixture of a 4-3-3 to a 5-3-2 or a 3-4-3 formation, which was great to see the fluidity in Gareth Southgate's setup. And we kind of got some demons out of the way because obviously losing to Croatia in the 2018 World Cup semi-final, Gareth Southgate came straight out of the gates thinking, yeah, we're going to do this. And one of my favorite moments from the tournament, Travis, was when Raheem Sterling said, he responded to a journalist when the journalist said, have you justified your selection? And then Raheem Sterling was like, have I justified my selection? And he looks around at Wembley Stadium cheering because England had won the game. That was a very cool moment. But what was your first impressions of Euro 2020 from an England point of view after winning that opening game against Croatia?
Yeah, I love this tournament. I think that first game against Croatia, like you say, it just put some of those demons to bed from the last World Cup. And after the last World Cup, it was obviously very disappointing the way we went out in the semi-final. I think that Croatia were a team that I don't know if we were necessarily better than them, but they were definitely there for the taking. We could have beaten them. And then who knows, in a one-off game in a final, it could have been anyone's game. But we all wanted to see progression, and we all wanted to see us be a better team than we were the previous tournament. And what better way is there to do that than to beat the team who knocked you out of the last tournament? So yeah, I think that just set the excitement to the new sort of highest level. Right up until we then drew 0-0 against Scotland in the next game.
Back when Matthew caught the flu by watching football in Trafalgar Square in the rain. Matthew, I'm going to come to you for this one as well, because with England beating Croatia, as Joshua recently said as well, the media loves to hype up the opposition's best player. And Declan Rice did a job on him, which was great to see. Modric barely had as much influence as he did in the semi-finals of the World Cup, and Declan Rice was really, really good and disciplined in that midfield as well. When you're looking at the Slovakia or Slovenia game, remind me of Slovakia, the third one.
I think it was. Was it Slovakia?
I think it was Slovenia, wasn't it? Slovenia.
Which one
No,
was
no,
it?
no. It wasn't. It was Czech Republic. Oh.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
Yeah, it was.
Oh, Slovakia was the Euro 2016, 0-0.
Yeah.
Czech Republic was the third group game as well, when we saw Grealish, Sterling, and Saka. For me, that was such an exciting attacking trio behind Harry Kane, because Kane was allowed to drop in, and Saka finally got to have his time starting for England as well. What did you really remember from an Arsenal point of view when you're watching Bukayo Saka start for England, and he was literally tearing it up on that right-hand side, balling with Jack Grealish, absolutely flying with Kyle Walker as well? What's your thoughts on that? And what did you remember the most fondly about that game against the Czech Republic, Matthew?
Do you know what? I want, like, in terms of the game as a whole, no. In terms of Saka's performance in that game, yes, because I felt like, and I said this to you previously, that what I love about Saka, he just takes how he plays at a club level straight into international. You know, like, just gets at the fullback, does what he has to do, cutting, shoots. Like, he just plays like he's just having fun with it, and they're very expressive. And again, I'm not going to talk about that player this year, but there's a certain player that gets to international and it completely crumble.
Stinks up the gaff he does every time.
You know, so
what I've noticed about him as well, Phil Foden, is every time when England score a big goal, he's always there in the photos. He runs straight to the goal scorer to make sure he's there with the good-looking pictures as well. Him with his fake Gaza hair with Harry Kane. You're just there. He missed the final of the Euros as well. And you're seeing it now with Jude Bellingham. He's going straight to Jude Bellingham because it's like, yeah, let me get that PR in as well. He didn't help out at all. He's not been great for England as well. I know we're not going to talk about him as well, but going to forward on to my favorite game, my personal favorite England game of all time. England versus Germany. England versus the old enemy at Wembley Stadium. And you're looking at it thinking that group had France, they had Hungary, Portugal. But who did we get? We got Germany. We had Toni Kroos, we had Joshua Kimmich, we had Kai Havertz after winning the Champions League. No, the season before he won that was the season he won the Champions League. No, it wasn't. Season before he won the Champions League. But we had Kai Havertz to deal with as well. Thomas Müller always there. Manuel Neuer between the sticks. Joshua, talk to me. that game had everything as an England fan. It had ups, it had downs, twists, it had turns. It had some moments when your heart was coming out of your throat because you're just there like, Raheem Sterling, what have you done? And then you're like, Raheem Sterling, look what you've done. Because he was all over the place. He was scoring goals. He was setting up Thomas Muller for an equalizer. And you're just like, this is crazy. Let me hear your thoughts, Joshua, on England versus Germany back in 2021 at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, Euro 2020 was special, man. There's a smell in England. Like, everybody just could fancy our chances. Everyone was behind the boys. But Germany, England...
Dare I say, before I interrupt, it was the first time I felt that presence in England since the Olympic Games in 2012. That's how big it was.
Yeah.
I think it was a Tuesday afternoon. It was Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon. We had to wait a week from that Czech Republic game, and all everybody could think about was Germany, Germany, Germany. And our record against Germany is horrendous. We know it's not good. And it was kind of that moment where the England side just collectively was like, yeah, I'm him. We're ready now. We're in the table. Because we never beat Germany. And we don't do it easy. And that was everything you want in a performance. Everybody stepped up defensively. Harry Kane was excellent. Sorry, Harry Kane. Harry Maguire was excellent because Kane got the goal. Harry Maguire was good.
Was that the game he broke his duct as well, Harry Kane?
Yeah. He came in, rushing in.
First goal of the Euros, wasn't
it? Yeah, to make it 2-0. And, Sterling's performance, that was definitely his best performance for me in England's show. He was excellent. And when England had pressure, I think Matt Offair was talking about like the game with Georgia and Turkey. Why don't we play like that? And we all want England to play like that. We have so much pressure. We put so much pressure on the team. It's so hard. Everybody watches England play football. It's unique. It's not. Of course, there's other nations like us. I'm not going to name that. We're not unique in that sense. I know a lot of countries in the world love football. I'm not blinded to that. But here, we're all desperate to do well. And that game, England had to deliver. And I think that's the most pleasing thing, is that to beat the old enemy at Wembley, especially what happened in 96 with Gareth Southgate being the manager at the time of Euro 96, to do them in 90 minutes, no penalties, no extra time, and just to be like, yeah, bye-bye, you're going home. There was a crying child who supported Germany. Excellent stuff.
I forgot about that. That was
entirely that game as well.
That was so good.
Oh, it was brilliant. And it's just like, yes, quarterfinal. We just beat Germany. That is the biggest mental block if you're an England fan and an England player, to beat Germany in a tournament. That is it. We've done that once before. We know when we did that.
It was 2 in 2 tournaments. It was one win in a penalty shootout, then second beating Germany in the knockout. And we beat them at Wembley, which was, like you said, just as incredible as well. I'm going to skip over here the Ukraine game because I know that was a quarterfinals, but that wasn't as iconic for me because it was like a game we should have won, and we did win because it was a very convincing 4-0 win. Because I want to talk to you about the semi-finals, Denmark conceding to Damsgaard free kick early on. Matthew, what was your thoughts when you conceded 1-0 at Wembley Stadium to Denmark in the first half? What was your feelings?
You know what? I don't know about you a lot, but I just felt...
Remember 2 minutes into the game as well, that free kick. Yeah. That was crazy.
But you know what? Sometimes the opposition can score too early, and I feel like where we had all them games at Wembley, I wasn't really concerned when Denmark scored that. And so that was just a game where Saka was balling out. Do you remember that one? While he was taking on 2-3. We spoke about this one. But England were fantastic in the tournament. Like the guys have alluded to already. One of my favourites. Like, honestly, like, the way that tournament gripped me, I remember having to say...
Did it recover you from your health issues as well, by the way? Did you get out of the hospital bed?
It did. I remember saying to the manager I had a bad throat, I had to go home and all of that, to enjoy the games. But honestly, it was just great to see England playing that type of football. And it felt like the handbrake had come off. And I remember when we won that, I felt like nothing was going to stop us winning that final. I just really felt like we've got the momentum now. And, we've always found it tricky against certain Scandinavian teams. Sweden and Denmark are always them two where
Iceland, actually, no, I got told off. Iceland isn't in Scandinavia. I've been told off about that. So, a northern European team.
Yeah, like, it's like on paper, they don't look like they've got stars. But when it comes together as a team, they put in a great performance. And Denmark performed well. It wasn't just Damsgaard. They had... was Anderson playing in that one? I think it was Anderson, and they've got a guy called Mæhle.
Joachim Mæhle, baller.
Good player, good player. Yeah, and then they performed very, very well and did put us on the threat. But I always thought we were getting to the final. With my guy Bukayo, we was gonna make. You know what I mean? Never in that.
There's a joke there, but we're not gonna go there yet.
We'll leave it. We don't have time for that joke as well. Travis, talk to me. Harry Kane, penalty, extra time. What's your nerves feeling like before he steps up for it?
As a Tottenham fan, non-existent, because when you watch it, no, you laugh, Matt, but genuinely, when you watch him, and I know it's funny saying that now, considering what happened in Qatar recently.
That's probably why I was laughing, because it's like non-existent, but at the time,
yeah,
stone cold.
But his penalty record and his penalty technique is just so ruthless that when we won the penalty, I celebrated like we'd scored, and then I think when he scored the penalty, I didn't even bother celebrating because my celebrating was all done. It was out the way. I was watching it with a few of my friends. I remember it actually. And they were all like edge of the seat, nervous, biting the fingernails, all of that. And I was like, it's calm. It's Harry Kane. He's not missing. He does not miss penalties unless he's in Qatar. Then he will miss penalty. But no, I absolutely no worries whatsoever. I knew 100 million% he was never going to miss that penalty. And I was just so happy that he was going to be the guy to get us into the final.
Wait, hold on. He did miss the penalty, though, didn't he? He just tapped it in.
Oh, well, yeah, sorry. Yeah, he did miss the pen. Yeah, he did miss the pen, but he tapped it in. So it still counts.
He played a 1-2 Casper Michael.
You know what? I wasn't getting at you, Travis. You know what? I was just thinking about the moment because I was celebrating the celebration. But I remembered, I think Phil Foden was there. He had, it had been saved and he had tapped it in. Everyone was celebrating.
Now you say that, actually, my overriding memory of that is I don't remember my reaction to that. I don't remember it at all. But what I do remember is seeing on social media in the following days, Mark Goldbridge's reaction, because he's watching the game and Kane takes the penalty and he misses, and Goldbridge jumps out of his chair, hands on the head, turns his back to the camera. Oh my God, he's missed it. He's bloody missed it. And then he didn't realize he'd scored for a couple of seconds, turns around and realizes he'd scored. That's the overriding thing I can remember, not my own actual reaction to it.
Poor guy indeed. Harry Kane finally got his goals in the European Championship, and then we got our final against Italy, where, realistically speaking, we literally had it in our grasp. It had came home to us. We were there. All we had to do was just seal the package and send it off, and then we would have been ready to have taken this package all the way home, because it was literally in the stadium. We brought it home. But it didn't come home. It went to Rome, because Luke Shaw scored one of the fastest goals in international finals history within 2-3 minutes of the game, which was incredible to see. A great move when you're looking at it in perspective. Kyle Walker, Kieran Trippier, you're looking at the team running forward. What I didn't get about this final, why did Bukayo Saka not start against Emerson, who was a backup left back for Chelsea at the time? Saka was incredible that tournament, and we started Mason Mount. And I was arguing with my friends who are Chelsea fans, and they're like, oh no, Mace played well. It's like, he didn't play well. Saka came on off the bench and he had that all-time meme of Chiellini grabbing his collar as well, which was it wasn't a collar, but his shirt, which is insufferable, really. We're not going to talk about penalties yet, but let's talk about our feeling. Joshua, you first, about when Luke Shaw scored that goal in Wembley Stadium. Unbelievable scenes.
Best moment as an England supporter. Doesn't get more higher than that. Just like, wow. out of body experience. Travis will like this. I actually watched the game at a Spurs pub, the Beehive, and we got there at 12 o'clock. Big Spurs pub, Matt. You don't want to be seen there.
You went to a pub at 12 o'clock and the game was at 8.
Yeah, because it was mental. 2021 was crazy. Everybody was in a COVID.
8 hours.
You could, yeah.
How much did you spend
does
that
not
night?
remember that game. He was pissed.
How much did you spend?
You know what? Like, listen,
did you have to become an Uber Eats driver just to make up the money you spent that night? That's crazy.
There was a really good. There was the tennis was on as well. Djokovic won again, so that occupied the time.
That was a little teaser. teaser.
Yeah. And then
I think the Formula One was on at the time as well.
Yes. Yeah, you just soak in. You've never been in a final ever, and God, hopefully we will see that again. But at this point, who knows that we'll never see that again? Just soaking all in, and you're getting there early because it was a fight to get tables, etc., etc. But back to the football, Luke Shaw's goal, just the technique, the volley. That was his first ever England goal. What a time to score it! And then we had Italy rattled. You know, it's just Italy for the first 25 minutes, half an hour. Like, oh my God, what's going on here? You know, we let them back in that game, and not playing Saka was criminal, especially when Foden was out of the squad. I like Mount, what he does, but not in that type of game. And he had a good chance, Mount. I think it was, I can't remember it clearly, but he sliced his shot. And that was one I felt, someone a bit more pace. He could have ran close to the goal, maybe for a tap in. And then we just fell in ourselves. And listen, we're England, unfortunately, and at times it's kind of funny. Southgate, that team is this unlike English side, but we lost the final probably the most England way possible on penalties, etc., etc. But just from in terms of the final, Luke Shaw setting up just the team. Trippier, I think there was the crossfield ball, Kane at his sparkling best, spreading it to the right side. Just that feeling. It's just we need to get back to that. Really, I know we're not talking about the current feel. We always need to get behind it. It's difficult at the moment because there's issues in the squad, etc., etc. Players not turning up like Phil Foden. I'm happy to say his name and properly, but with
Not
because he
Frauden
isn't.
just yet. Not Frauden.
But yeah, in terms of that tournament, that was like the ice and the cake. It was kind of like you're building up to everything and just go, oh my God, like wow. And we peaked too early. We peaked too early. We scored too early. Matt spoke about, for Denmark, we scored too early for ourselves. But fun fact for England, England have never lost a competitive game at Wembley in 90 minutes. That never went. It means nothing now because we lost the penalties. Italy, but there's been 3 tournaments at home, and obviously in 4 years' time, the Euros is going to be in the UK. So,
It's going to be fun. We're not going to talk about penalties without talking about the England hero in the penalties as well. Matthew, Jordan Pickford, breathing down Belotti's neck. And it was like, yeah, we've got this. And Belotti missed, which was great. Then Jorginho came up to step. And then Jordan Pickford, you could see on camera saying, no problem, psyching himself up. He gets a lot of, not hate, but he gets a lot of stick in terms of, he's a bit of a crazy keeper. He's not as calm as a lot of keepers are in previous years. But how big was that moment, seeing Jordan Pickford save Jorginho's penalty? Of all penalty takers, Jorginho had his penalty saved. What do you remember about that, Matthew?
You know what? I can't lie. At that stage, yeah, it had me. I was on the ropes. I remember I was sitting, there was about 30 of us. And I remember saying, the way Jorginho takes it, too many goalkeepers be diving early. But what Pickford did that was smart. When Jorginho does a little hop, he still hadn't moved. And I feel that kind of threw Jorginho off. And it was a fantastic save. And at that point, I felt like, all right, we've done it. And I just want to touch on Pickford quickly. Like you just said, I think he's been, over the last couple of tournaments, one of our best players. Like, all right, at Everton, he gets a lot of slack for what he does. And I think sometimes it doesn't help the type of team he plays for. But for England, I can't think of a time he's really let us down. I think there's only once, one game it's a friendly where you come out, flat it or whatever. But other than that, he's been fantastic. And yeah, that penalty shootout, I felt for him. Like, it just felt right when he made that save, like we're going to go on and do it. But
Travis and I have been speaking about that over the last couple of weeks as well. Jordan Pickford is arguably one of England's best players under Gareth Southgate, definitely in the top 3. We've not done a tier list because we want to do it on your channel, Matthew, a proper tier list of the best England players, and that's what we've done well. But
we Travis, do that this week, yeah? I'm putting down the pressure. We do it this week, guys. We do it this week. Tier
tomorrow?
List. Let's go. What late?
Tomorrow. I'm away tomorrow. Thursday?
Right, cool. Thursday, we're going to do England anyway, so if you want to do it, we can do that. Might as well.
We could do it because I may have a special guest in my studio, if you know what I mean. We may have someone in, which would be good fun indeed. So, Travis, final thoughts on England at Euro 2020 before we wrap up?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think Joshua touched on it earlier. That Luke Shaw goal was I think the best moment of our lifetimes as an England fan, really. The other one from that tournament, which always stands out for me as one of my favourite moments as an England fan, was the chance that Muller missed against us in the Germany game.
Yes. I knew there was more to that game.
When he got put through 1-on-1, I think leading up to that, we'd had a couple of really good chances and missed them. I think Hamza mentioned one that Sterling had missed, or it might have been Joshua that mentioned it. But we'd had a couple of really good chances, and then you see someone as lethal as Muller get put through 1-on-1, and you think,
and Kyle Walker couldn't catch him. John Stones couldn't catch him.
Again. England against the Germans, a game we should have already had put to bed. Here's Muller 1-on-1 to put it to bed, and he missed. And I just remember thinking, it's going to be our day. It's going to be our game. And I was wondering, whether it's going to be our tournament. And in the end, we were very, very close. Like Matt said, when Pickford saved that Jorginho penalty, such an elite penalty taker to save one from him, I thought, yeah, we're doing this. This is ours all day. It's coming home. It's already home. It's not even coming anymore. It's unpacked the suitcase. It's got into his pajamas. It's climbed into bed. But no, not to be, unfortunately.
Then Chris Brown came in and stole it.
Yeah, let's hope we're one step further this year. The thing which really annoyed me about last Euros, is who he lost it to. Because do you remember how fucking arrogant Italy were in the celebrations at the end? Was it Bonucci grabbing the camera? It's coming Rome, it's coming Rome. I thought, you twat. So angry. Yeah, probably one of the worst feelings I've had as a football fan was watching Italy dance around Wembley with the trophy.
This is where England's media don't help them at all, because England's media literally were going through the narrative of it's coming home, it's coming home. But the media shouldn't be saying it's coming home. That's just for the fans to be doing. That's for the fans to be singing. But when the media are printing it in papers, they're talking about it on TV, they're gassing their players up like they should do, but they go overboard a lot. And it happened recently against Serbia as well, when they're gassing up Jude Bellingham for a crossfield pass, and you're just like, come on, Kyle Walker's.
Yeah, that was bonkers. I remember watching that the other day. I say I remember like it happened ages ago. It was literally 2 days ago.
Back in the olden days.
Back in the old days. I was watching that at the weekend with my dad, and I saw him spray the ball. And look, it's good technique, but they were absolutely like lauding it, weren't they? The commentators couldn't get enough, and they replayed it about 6 times, 6 different angles. Studio, I just said to my dad,
Rio Ferdinand, Micah Richards as well. Awful.
I was like, there's no one around him, first of all. He's got so much time to play that pass. Second of all, Kyle Walker's in about 3 fields of space. Like, there's no pressure on him either. That's the most unnecessarily ludicrous camera pass I've ever seen in my life. If he'd have just touched it down and pinged it, same result, but you've got no Rio Ferdinand creaming over it in the studio, nothing like that.
Who was on commentary that night? Was it Jermaine Genius?
It was Shearer.
Alan Shearer, wasn't
that
it?
was it.
Shearer was like, "Oh, what about that for a pass?"
Dude,
come on, shut up, Alan. Unbelievable.
That's incredible. It's absolutely insane. Before we wrap up the podcast, I want to say thank you very much to Joshua Adu Donkor, Matthew Smith from Back in That Podcast, and as always, Travis, for a fantastic England-themed podcast. My last question to all of you, this is going to be fun. Who's going to be England's best player in this tournament? So we can wrap it up nice and neatly, because I want to get all of your predictions on record. Joshua first, then Matthew, then Travis. Best player at the tournament for England at Euro 2024. Go.
Jude Bellingham.
Jude Bellingham. Matthew?
Rice.
Declan Rice, best player. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. Travis?
You know, I wish you'd have come to me before, Matt, because it would have been more impactful if I'd have said it first, but I agree, Declan Rice. My overall feeling from the Serbia game was he was our best player. I think if Jude didn't have the PR that he had, then Rice would absolutely have been getting all the plaudits that Jude got this weekend. I thought he was absolutely superb. I think if we've got any chance of going deep into this tournament, Rice has got to play every single minute, I think.
There's no replacement for Declan Rice in this team.
He's the only player that I think if they drop out, we're shafted, because we literally have nobody else. I mean, centre-backs, we're not looking strong, but at least we've actually got people to play that position. If Rice drops out, we're done.
Yeah, we can't play Wharton there. Mainu's a different type of CDM. You can't play Conor Gallagher there. It's all about the fitness of Declan Rice, and it's probably, I'd say, Jordan Pickford, Harry Kane, Declan Rice, those 3 are our main players in that spine of the defence. John Stones, he's got to play every game, but I think we could rest him if we win the next game as well against Denmark, which would be great to see as well. So my most important player, my most MVP player has got to be, you know what, I'm going to be outlandish. I'll say Jordan Pickford. Jordan Pickford was absolutely fantastic for England. He's been quality under Gareth Southgate's tenure as well. I'd like to see him shine. And like I said in the studio, Travis, I want to see him lifting an international trophy, because of all the England players in that team, he's done so much and he's barely stepped out of line at all for England. But everyone, I want to say thank you very much for your time. Go enjoy the Portugal game, and we will see you next time. Take care, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.
Peace.